Hello everyone, and welcome to the second episode of Mythrill Monthly. Thank you so much, Lich, for the what was that, 5 community gift subs? Thank you so much. That is greatly appreciated. But welcome everyone to, again, second episode of Mythrill Monthly, where we're going to be going over all of the lore that has happened over the course of April. I'm here today again with the lovely El Pond Fairy. Do you want to say hi, El?
Hello.
For a second, I thought you were just going to say no and then leave the call.
No, I did it. I was like, do I do that?
Do I be a little scrungly?
Do I be a little bit chaotic today?
A little bit silly, goofy?
I mean, I'm not normally chaotic anyway, so.
You are always chaotic. What do you mean?
I think it depends on the mood and who I'm with.
Okay, no, you're not always chaotic. You're always unhinged, especially when it comes to lore.
I'm chaotic neutral, I would say.
No, you're unhinged neutral. You've made a new new thing.
I am the category.
You are the danger. You are. But yes, I think I'm going to give it a minute just because the ad time is still going. But how are you doing today? What is life up to?
I'm doing okay. I know we've both been doing stuff to do with Mythrill today.
Oh, very, very true. We've been all in planning mode because we have quite a lot of stuff going on this month. I'm sure we'll talk more about that later, but we have a lot of streams which we are helping to organize and are preparing for this month. Some of them currently have dates, a lot of them don't. But we're on crunch time, I guess. On our end, at the very least, you know. I'm getting near the end of my my models for the next texture pack update, which is going to be a fun one. A lot of little nicks and nats.
I can't wait for it. I know what's coming in that texture pack update.
Oh, it's so wonderful.
I've got like my eyes open, just like, I'm waiting for this.
I'm waiting for my surprise. I am waiting. And then we have an event that we're also preparing for beginning of next month, hopefully, I believe. We've already had to push it back once, which is why we haven't done the announcements about it yet, but we're hoping to get that done soon. It will be very exciting. Or just iron out the details more so. And then we've been working to collect all of the lore so that we may go through it and show everyone.
I mean, we have a spreadsheet now, so it's not too bad.
We do have a spreadsheet, but that's more so to help us organize what's happening in what order.
Yeah.
Which I will have to take a look at later to be like, yo, this is wonderful. This is wonderful.
Yeah, I have it open.
You do. You also have Minecraft open still, I believe.
Yeah, I do.
You are on the server right at this moment.
It doesn't stop.
It never stops. It never stops.
The Mythrill grind.
The Mythrill grind simply never stops, everybody. Imagine being on the server. I do wonder what that mysterious tweet by an Izzy Foxy was earlier.
I don't know. I didn't leak the IP, just saying. It wasn't me, guys. For anyone who thinks it was me.
I think we all know who leaked the IP. I'm looking at you, name and see. It's a menace. It's a menace.
The thing is, it would be me out of everybody, though. Let's be real.
I mean, you nearly leaked the IP for a different server that we got to go on, so I wouldn't put it past you.
I almost leaked that we were on the server, and we weren't even meant to be. We weren't meant to leak it. I was like, oh, I almost leaked it.
You silly little guy. But without any further delay, we will be getting into going over all of the lore that has happened during April. How many lore streams was there, my lovely El Pond Fairy?
I counted 14.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I guess that brings us to our first one, which is so fitting since Katie Gobert is in chat, which is an apple a day, which is a very, very fun one. So, a character who hasn't been seen too often on the SMP, but is still a very beloved member, is the lovely, lovely Rose Funder, who I believe we talked about them last episode with the lore they did with you for a few moments.
Yes.
Yes. Well, they have returned once more, our precious little Vila, as they bump into Katie, our resident sea elf, who takes them to the doctor in the valley, Marsarcy, or just Mars, to get their back checked out. Because they've been having some strange pains recently. They arrive at Mars's house, they go through, look at Rose's back, ask them a couple of questions, like what species they are, how long the pain has been there, and various other things. And whilst they're examining Rose, Mars notices 2 large scars on their back. Very old, they've healed, but they're still visible, so they shouldn't be causing whatever pain is plaguing Rose. However, they're in a lot of discomfort. They're not a very happy bunny. They're not a bunny either. Oh. I don't know what's going on with me today. I am going
if they
through
were
it.
A bunny, they probably wouldn't have fallen off my cliff.
That is my favorite TikTok still. I do love it. But no. So Mars offhandedly mentions how they're a human. Being in the valley full of so many mystical creatures has them doubting their abilities a bit, since, a lot of other medical things to consider when dealing with other species. But this mention makes Rose rather uncomfortable. They instantly become defensive and distrusting towards Mars, despite Katie's assertion that they are a good and trustworthy person. Eventually, though, they take some medicine given to them by Mars and agree to come back for a checkup in the future. Shortly after, they take their leave. Katie and Mars go over some stuff afterwards, with Katie trying to make Mars feel better about Rose's sudden dislike towards them. Reasoning that they've also had some bad experiences with humans. Was it a dance battle, I believe they won?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yes, they beat some sailors in a dance battle, according to the sea elf. But eventually, Katie leaves to continue their search for their home, the Sea Elf Kingdom, while leaving Mars. And yeah, that's the long and short of the stream. Though I guess an important note to mention is how Mars tells Katie to not overwork themselves, which will become more relevant later.
Yeah. I wonder why.
I do wonder why. I do wonder why. Also, a little note, just as I drink my tea. I want to make some custom constellations for the SMP because I'm making Marsarcy a constellation.
Oh my goodness.
To retcon me fucking up in a previous
you're not the
stream.
first person to say Marsarcy though as well.
I'm not. See, when I say your name, I feel like that's a little bit easier to brush off. But because Marsarcy, yeah. Mars is just a shortening of Marsarcy, so it feels a little bit more, it's a bit too related.
Katie, there's already a fish constellation.
Well, either making Marsarcy a constellation or a star, because I like the idea that it has Mars in it, because it like glows red every now and then, because Mars is a red planet. But I'm not sure if that'd be cooler as a constellation or a star, but I'm looking for star/constellation suggestions, guys. Give me ideas.
My favorite, because the first time Bryce said L instead of Artemis, I was like, oh my god, this is great.
No, it's so funny. This is a big worry that I have when doing lore with Bryce Fizok, is accidentally saying Bryce instead of Fizok.
No, that's the thing. Like, I've not said Bryce. Like, I've always said people's characters' names so far. I haven't slipped up.
And you're doing so wonderfully with that. So more wonderfully than I am with me constantly forgetting to retitle the streams when I start them. I'm doing so well today.
Make me an editor and then I can do it for you.
You are an editor.
It doesn't like.
I swear you're an editor already.
You might need to check.
I'll check later, but enough waffle as we move on to the second part of our lovely pirates quest. We covered last time the first quest in the familiar waves line that the lovely Moon Intensity is doing, and now we're at the second. So a little reminder for the last one, following line of trying to find their mother, they were pointed in the direction of some ancient cities. They went to the first one, found the compass leading them to another one, as well as a book by their aunt, Hilaria, who was a time-traveling adventurer.
Sick.
I suppose that's the easy synopsis. But, you know, if you really want to know so badly, you can always check out the Mythrill YouTube. You know, it's fun. And I also forgot to pin the Mythrill Monthly message. I'm doing great. I spent so long today working on the things. I think it's understandable why I'm a little bit frazzled now.
Oh no, literally.
I spelt familiar wrong. I missed an A. Oh, it's okay. It's okay.
Bum.
Bum.
It's just like a thump. Just.
It's like a thwomp thwomp from Mario. Oh, okay.
Oh.
But in this second part of Upon Familiar Waves, Moon and their pirate friend Monet continue on their adventures to find information about Moon's mother following the second compass that they found at the last ancient city, heading west. Eventually, they find an abandoned campsite and a cave next to it, which they follow down into an ancient city. However, this isn't a normal ancient city, as it seems to be covered in mechanical contraptions, very steampunk aesthetic. A lot of pipe work and machines and cogs. Do you want to mention real quick how long that build took us?
Okay, for context, I feel it was over a week or something.
It was like a month, I'd say.
Yeah, it took like a month because it was all like one block. We got like a little bit drained of it, and we just stopped doing it for like a week or so.
It's surprising, really, how difficult it is to build copper stuff over and over and over again.
It's so...
We'll bring down my board quickly so I can show you guys a couple of the screenshots from the place. That's Moon right there, their new little skin. You can see in the middle the area. All very dark and shadowy, of course, because, you know, it's an ancient city. That's a good picture. They had to do a little bit of parkour as well to get to where the next book was stored.
I love the pictures we took of that one, though.
Yeah, we had a lot of good photos from that particular one. But yes, they find the city, have to do a little bit of light parkour in order to get on top of the monument in the middle. At which point they find another chest surrounded by candles, just like the last one. There is another journal written by Hilaria, this one writing about how they moved to this city at the invitations of the Underground's leaders, and have been learning more about the Guardians called Wardens and how they were built to protect the city. So there's apologies, I'm stumbling. It's noted that there is an unusual amount of wardens in this city in particular, leading both the author of the book and Moon and Monet to believe that this was the manufacturing place for the wardens. Perhaps not where they were brought to life, but where the casing was made before, you know, tuning them to function. Hilaria once again mentions their sister Mary, referring to them as a master thief and a master pirate, and saying how she would steal anything and run off with it. It seems that Hilaria doesn't have the best opinion on her sister in this entry. In the last one, she was speaking of trying to locate her sister to have a reunion. In this one, she seems to be looking back a little more coldly on their life together. Which is an interesting thing.
Indeed.
Yes. It's also mentioned how Hilaria was always in Mary's shadow and left to clean up her messes, which really aligns with their role in the group of Atmosphere that we learn of later down the line. But we'll get to that soon. Moon also finds some rumors of rebellion between the underground cities towards the creator of the valley, the elusive god Warren. Which, I mean, I wonder if anything came of that rebellion, huh?
I wonder.
I wonder.
Wild.
It's a
Rebellion.
very curious one. But with all the information that they find, as well as a new compass to follow at a later date, they explore around the city, noting the mechanical contraptions and everything left around. Moon remembers a certain inventor who lives in the valley, and how they might know a bit more about those contraptions, considering, inventor, that sort of lane of thought, I suppose. It's also whilst they look through the city that they find a warden already there and spawn a couple of their own as well. Rather hilariously. There was around 4 of them at one point.
Yeah, I think they got to 5.
Oh, you can see. Oh, you can't see one because your wings are in the way, Elle, but there is one hiding behind the train. And they started to shoot at them from the sky so that they wouldn't have to, aggro. The devious little guys. They killed Kyle. How do you feel about them killing Kyle?
I'm so upset about it. I feel nothing but pain still.
Fun
I'm attached
fact.
to that warden.
Fun fact for everyone. If you name tag a warden in Minecraft, they don't despawn.
Don't
Ever.
ask how we know that.
Don't ask us where Kyle came from. You don't want to know.
You don't want to know.
You really don't want to know. But they defeat the warden. They explore the city, grabbing some loot. Moon admits to Monet about how they told the lovely Artemis Hermes about what they found in the last book, even though they promised not to tell Monet they wouldn't tell anybody. But they asserts that Artemis is a trustworthy person. Eventually, though, after they pillage the place of all its valuables, kill the warden who sought their demise, the two of them leave. Back out the way they came through the tunnel, and deciding to try and look for the next location in the future, which may actually be happening relatively soon. I believe it's next Friday?
Yeah, it's a week today.
It's a week today that the third and final part of Familiar Waves will be, so that's a very exciting thing to look forward to. We have a few shorter ones to go through now, which I'm excited about because less for us to talk about. It's very exciting. It's very exciting. Ooh, now this one is fun. We don't often have lore that takes place canonically at the same time as something else, but is streamed on a different day. But this one, I think, might actually be our first. So, Looking for Buttercups was a stream done by Sky Was Taken to My Beloved. And
07s, guys.
07s.
She's not passed away. she's alive, guys.
Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Actually, wait. I actually do have some screenshots from that I can show in a moment. But during the second logbook, or the second journal, I should say, it's not logbooks anymore. During the second journal stream from the month before, which you can again find out about in our previous Mythrill Monthly episode.
You should check that out for real after this one, though.
Of course. And this one will be up on the YouTube soon as well. But it is during Looking for Buttercups and taking place at the same time as the second journal that Sky heads out searching for some buttercups to give to her beloved wife, Jay, who might just be me. Might just be my character. Before the second logbook, Jay had been ill. Sky had been taking care of her. And so this is sort of her trying to make her wife feel even better after recovering from her sickness by picking some flowers, which is a very, very sweet sentiment. I think we can all agree. She ends up leading herself to a village that is surrounded by a large flower grove, rather mysteriously, where she has a good look around, picking 10 of each flower, before stumbling across the river to a full plain of just cornflowers, and only cornflowers after being surrounded by so many other beautiful plants. This one area is just full of cornflowers, which is
spooky, guys.
an odd connection, I would have to say. It's also interesting that from the forest line, birch trees happen to be around this area in quite an abundance, much to Sky's disgust, as it happens they are their least favourite tree. Quite an interesting thing to have an opinion on, but...
Yeah.
Things are normal, you know. They're collecting more flowers. They decide since there are so many cornflowers, it wouldn't hurt to gather a few more. Collecting exactly 13 before something strange happens. I was trying to read and then my brain malfunctioned.
That's not good.
After collecting these 13 flowers, Sky hears a voice in their head and immediately starts to panic. The voice telling her that it's time to come home. It ignores Sky as they beg not to be taken away, not to leave their wife again. And then everything fades to black. We get a few strange flashing images, one of the temple, and then just nothing. Sky's gone.
Again.
And that is the exact
first time.
That is the exact moment in the second logbook stream that Jay starts to freak out when the tracker broke, I will say. Which is so very curious. Curiouser and curiouser.
I wonder what's happening.
I wonder what's happened to my wife. Where is my wife, El Pond Fairy?
You're acting like I took her.
El Pond Fairy, what have you done with my wife?
Sorry, she's just very flirtable.
I can't believe you're attempting to steal my wife.
I wouldn't say steal, I'd say she's fun to flirt with.
Guys,
you can't say it because I flirt with you as well.
Guys, El Pond Fairy is trying to steal my wife, my canonical Mythrill SMP wife.
Excuse me, in canon, Artemis is taken, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, we can't get to that yet. What we have now, though, is a sweet meeting, which is, I believe, the first major interaction, aside from the festival, between the lovely Honeyfly and Jelly. And
it is.
I've just noticed Izzy in the chat.
Is it?
That's all I'm going to say to that. Anyway,
I'm not the one who's. I'm the single one.
No, they're talking to me. I'm getting.
No, I know. That's what I'm pointing out, Jay. I'm the single one.
You're not single. Your husband's just in another dimension. It's fine.
They're not even married yet. You're further than they are.
Your fiance's just in another dimension. It's fine.
Yeah, you know, he's the reason that she died. You know.
No.
I say as I sip my tea.
A sweet meeting. Having previously made the acquaintance of each other at the festival, Honey and Jelly bump into each other whilst heading to Artemis's newly opened bakery to grab some treats. Jelly is rather...
money.
It's been making you a lot of money and been opening up a good amount of lore interactions. Quite interestingly.
Real.
But Jelly is confused to find donuts that contain them, apparently. They're not a big fan of the jelly donuts, which is rather ironic. I do love a bit of irony, though. I do think it's rather cute. But the two of them walk around the harbour for a while, talk about potentially opening a shop together in the future, and form a friendship, more or less, with Jelly even inviting Honey to the upcoming flying lesson that they have been offered by Jay, Artemis, and Charlie. That is more or less the main points of happen in that stream. A rather short one, more of just a
short but sweet.
Short but sweet, just like the title.
I felt so smart saying that.
Oh, you are wonderful. But we're getting into what, in my opinion, is a very interesting stream.
Oh yeah, it is. It is.
Because it is. My cap locks is on. Uh, to send a letter. This is a Marsarcy stream, my beloved Marsarcy.
We love Marzark in his household.
Our lovely human doctor from the Northern Providence, who is wanting to send a letter to his father. After writing this letter, they start contemplating how exactly they are going to send it, since they haven't seen a post office in the valley yet, and decide the best person to ask these questions to would be Jay, the librarian and scholar of the land. They decide to take the nether portals to get there, not wanting to traverse the ocean, and also most likely wanted to get a bit more accustomed to traveling through portals, not a thing humans most often do. But they make their way through their portal to the one beside the auction house, where they encounter a strange person. As they exit the portal, they see someone who shares a striking resemblance to Artemis, someone who they've been acquainted with before. But their hair is darker, and they're wearing darker colours, larger horns, a couple of distinct differences that keen viewers might catch on to from my descriptions.
Hee.
Mars nervously makes conversation with the figure after they spot him, gaining a compliment on his lovely flower crown of poppies, at which point he promises to deliver them a bouquet in the future should they meet again. Not wanting to have any more unnecessary social interactions, Mars makes his leave quickly and heads to the library where he encounters Jay and begins to ask her if Artemis has a twin sister, something distinct to mention since Artemis does have a twin brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to him later.
She has a twin, just not a female
Just not
twin.
a female one. Jay reveals to Mars that this figure they bumped into was in fact Celine, the shapeshifter in the valley who has recently taken Artemis's form for themselves. This is quite troubling to Mars, though they don't seem to really understand the weight of what this means, having only heard whispers of the so-called deity since they arrived in the harbour. Jay gives them warnings, telling them to make sure they deliver that bouquet to them at some point, since they made a promise. And from there, she shows Mars where to go to send his letter, taking him to the docks and paying for his fee for the letter to be sent, as well as giving him a note of destination. She also mentions how she'll be receiving a book shipment soon, and how the postman will be taking Mars's letter out when her shipment comes in. After that, they walk around the valley for a little while. They also inspect Artemis's new bakery, and eventually head into Mars's pharmacy, having a quick look at Honey's blood samples, which they are both still diligently trying to figure out the properties of, with Mars noticing that one of his 3 samples has gone missing. Jay mentions having taken it for an unknown reason, which Mars doesn't follow up on at the time. However, this leads them into Mars's most recent, appointment with Rose, where they got very uncomfortable at the mention of them being human. Having heard about Rose from Artemis previously, Jay puts 2 and 2 together with the scars on their back that they are a Vila, a type of fairy that has had their wings taken from them, helping to explain why they've been having that back pain, and also giving Mars a little bit more insight onto what is going on with them at that current time. She also explains to Mars how a lot of magical creatures don't have the best opinion of humans, as they are the dominant species in the world and haven't been too kind to the other races, Jay herself having been captured and imprisoned by them several times in her life, noting that Rose might have been through a similar experience. With that, though, they make their way back to the library before parting ways for today. Oh, Mars also asks about Katie, since the lovely sea elf hasn't been around for a while, and then they part ways.
Missing Katie hours,
Missing
everybody.
Katie hours. But
That's what's going on
as
with that
Mars
man.
makes his way home, he can't help but wonder if Celine is really as bad as everyone makes them out to be. I mean, they gave him a compliment. I guess the bar really is that low.
It really is.
It really is for the
Like,
lovely Mars. It
no,
really
let's be.
is.
I literally said this before, before I started. People talk to Artemis. She's like, "Yeah, don't do this," and they're like, "Right." Immediately goes and does that. Says to
Oh,
people, "Don't talk to Celine." Everyone talks to Celine.
except for Bryce Fizek.
Yeah, he's the only smart one.
He's the only one you can trust to speak to Celine because he won't sell
Literally.
his soul.
Oh, the standards are
Man
on
wasn't
the
even sure he
floor.
had a soul. How's he gonna sell it?
Yeah, Bestie was like, "Do I have a soul?"
What is soul? Question mark. How does one acquire? Fast for real is in live stream. Oh, we adore you, Rose
Oh
Thunder.
my
We
god,
adore you.
Rose. We love you, Rose.
But this is actually an Artemis stream next, so
Oh my goodness.
I believe you can take the lead on this one.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Have to remember which one it is, I presume.
Apologies and pies.
Yes.
I have it up. I was like going to cough. So I was like, let me mute before I cough.
Me forcing this part upon you because one, it's short, two, I want to drink my tea.
No, that's what I was doing for your whole thing. So after a while of time, Honey had decided to send a letter to Artemis a couple of weeks ago. And Artemis was in the mind of needing to write back, but she just kept forgetting. As she was very busy recently. So Honey arrived at the island, talking about the letter, and wonder if they would be okay to teach Honey how to bake, which Artemis had previously mentioned that they would help them out in if they wanted to. And during the baking, etc., Honey does apologise to Artemis for the previous actions and words they had said the last time they were around each other, as they were a bit rash is what they had agreed with Artemis with, as they had spoken to Celine and did demand answers from Artemis that she didn't really have. They do eventually have a lot of goods from baking.
I believe there was an accidental stack of pies.
Yeah, there's a accidental stack of chocolate pies, particularly.
Yes.
I don't know why I remember the specific pie that was made. I am becoming a baker, guys.
Oh, I need some sweet treats. It makes sense because you're a snack.
I mean, I'll be there next week.
Continue.
And after baking and that, Artemis decides to take Honey on a tour of the island, as it has drastically changed since they were last there a couple of weeks ago, which does show that Artemis did mean to write back. She was just very busy building a lot of new things.
Yes.
And they go to one of the most recent additions at the time. They go to the tower, and Honey talks about the wings she has, not disclosing how she got said wings. But letting Artemis know that she's trying to get more comfortable with flying, and bringing up the flying lesson that Jelly had invited her to. Which Artemis was also going to be there and help teach people how to fly. And after that, the two do depart from each other with the success of more sweets for that bakery that is very popular in the harbour.
Yes, everyone seems to be
For
going to
some
the
reason.
bakery.
Yeah.
You add a couple of custom bakery items to the SMP and suddenly everyone are going insane.
No, okay, I valid though. I have this one constant customer though that likes the bagels, and I wonder who
I
it is.
wonder who that could be. It's not like we have anyone on the server named Bagel.
It's my favorite thing because I'll just be leaving the bakery and bagel will just be like, "You don't see me." I'm like, "Yeah, right."
Not me tipping them off when it restarts.
No, literally.
Oh, but yes, but yes. We have another lovely, lovely Katie Go Burst stream.
My favorite fish.
My favorite fish. So, like mentioned in the last stream Katie was featured in, they have been searching for a way to return home to the Sea Elf Kingdom, which they got washed away from in a storm and have no recollection on how to return to. The ocean is very vast in this world, so it's a difficulty trying to pinpoint its exact location, but she's been mapping things out and trying to figure out a way to return. But after being missing from the valley for a couple of weeks, Katie returns from her exploration and starts venting to her bubbles, the chat, about the frustration she
I love
has
the bubbles.
of. We stand the bubbles.
They're 10 out of 10.
Of course, of course.
My favorite person, Mars Architect.
I was going to ignore that, but it caught my
No,
eye, yeah.
sorry, I needed to bring it up. It's one of those things I can't ignore it, Jay.
Oh, understandable, understandable. But Katie is very, very focused on trying to find their way home, to the point of being brought to the brink of exhaustion, large dark circles forming under their eyes from all the sleepless nights they've spent swimming in the ocean. She can't think of exactly what to refer to the valley as. She's made a home for herself there, but it's not her home. It's just a place where she can stay till she finds her way there. And she does a lot of self-reflection on just everything since she's washed up in the valley, the people that she's met, the life that she's left, her family, who she's missing. And is a bit down on herself about worrying her parents like this with this sudden disappearance and how she's not, you know, doing the best by being missing for so long, I suppose. But after a while, she starts thinking of people who she could talk to about maybe getting a bit more insight on where the Sea Elf Kingdom could be. Notably, the lovely librarian Ace of J. Shouldn't have called myself lovely because that's a lie, however.
It's so true, though. You are lovely.
Hush now.
No.
Katie also leaves a note in Mars's house asking them to hang out soon, since it's been quite a while since they've seen their best friend. And yeah, whether they return to the ocean to search more or finally get a little bit of rest for a moment, that is up to Katie. But I mean,
Girl needs some rest.
I believe they got like an hour or two at most sleep and then set back out into the ocean for a couple of hours.
That seems like
or maybe they just started marking down on their maps the exact places they'd already been to. Maybe that's their break. They can't exactly do maps under the water very easily. I feel like the sea elves probably have like enchantments that they use so their stuff doesn't break underwater, but Katie's too young to have learnt to do them.
Oh,
that's my little headcanon. Like, she's trying, but the ink always bleeds off after a while.
I know, like, in like most things, elves don't need as much sleep as like other races.
But Katie is a baby elf. They're just a little fish.
I mean, yeah, like, true. Honestly, Katie probably needs the most sleep out of everybody.
Yes. But there's that one. And now we are moving on to
a matter of faith.
You said it already, and I put a
I
Y in it
did.
for some reason.
It's okay.
Would you mind starting off with that one? I have to grab something quickly.
Of
But
course, of course.
this is a lovely lovely Bryce Isaac stream, so
Yeah.
floor to you.
You also want me to do this one anyway, so we start off with the lovely Isaac, another new recent addition to the valley. And after his last meeting with Artemis, which was finding the obsidian glass sword as he refers to it, he sits in his workshop trying to decipher how it works, as it looks like obsidian and it feels like obsidian, but he's unsure about something. He loses track of time and realizes that he does actually need to leave his meeting with Celine, or he will indeed be late for it. He makes his way to the Mythrill Temple, talk about the strangeness of the sword and why it was there in the first place and how it is so strong. He butts around the structure, he walks up the stairs and walks all the way around just to realise Celine's not there yet. And he waits, and he waits until she doesn't show up. So he then decides to make his way back to the harbour and go to the auction house, where he thinks that Celine would be, because it is her place after all. What entering the auction house, Isaac does indeed come face to face with the shapeshifter he was waiting for. Celine commented about the fact he is late and he shouldn't keep her waiting, because she's a very busy woman. Even though he tries to say that they were meant to meet at the temple, he stops himself. But I'm gonna say this. Thank you, Sky, for the sub.
Thank you, Sky, for the resub. 14 months. You're so wonderful, Sky.
Oh my god, guys, we found the wife.
We found my wife, guys. She's here in the Twitch chat. We gotta save her. No,
okay,
no.
How are you doing?
Welcome to the Mythrill Monthly, Sky. Welcome to the podcast.
I love everyone's like, oh my god,
what?
Sky was found.
Sky was found.
Sky was
wait. Sky was taken.
Yeah, Miles made that joke earlier, too.
I didn't realise. I never put it together till I could put their name before me. They really have been taken, huh?
Taken by me. Sorry.
At last we can rest. At last.
Oh, I love the timing though. I didn't know if you were back, so I was like, thanks, Sky.
No, I've been here for a second. I typed in the chat. I made fun of Rose for their spelling mistake.
Oh no, I saw you in the chat, but I didn't know like.
No, I got back. You can continue though. Brief intermission for the Sky was taken.
Always. Isaac deciding he does not want to make an enemy out of the said shapeshifter, decides to give her a spyglass. The same type of gift he had given Artemis previously as well, when they had last seen each other. The conversation starts with, as usual, most of the time, Celine bragging about herself in the classical manner of that she's just much better than everybody. And Isaac agrees with this, which we all can guess that is kissing up to try not to get himself killed.
Not quite tongue in cheek, but very much kissing of ass.
Yeah.
And he's a smart man, getting on the good side of a powerful being like Celine.
Indeed. And he didn't just want to meet Celine for nothing. He did indeed have some questions for her. And some of these questions consist of, why would someone tell me only your name? Which, Celine being Celine, who wouldn't want to know about Celine?
You did not hear that alarm. You continue.
I didn't, sir.
I've said anything. Fuck me.
I mean, who wouldn't want to talk about the great Selene after all? I mean, she's a powerful being. So.
Artemis is better.
She begs to differ, everybody. She begs to differ. He then continues with, why was she not symbolized in the ruins where he found the sword? In surprise, Selene has no interest in in her lack of depiction where Isaac had found the obsidian sword, not really caring about a mortal ruin the slightest. Will it make you happy if you leave the valley and it resonates soulless? An interesting question, as we know at this moment in time, Selene had taken Panky's soul, but not to anyone's knowledge, not anyone else's. It wouldn't make Selene happy to see the valley resonance soulless, but satisfied? Incredibly so. And something Isaac had been questioning about was his own soul. So he does ask Selene what she knew about his. And she starts with refusing to tell anything about his soul. At least not without him giving it to her first. Which he does respond with, buy me dinner first. And shockingly, Selene seems very open to the idea of buying him dinner, as one would say.
Second date of a deity on the SMP, I'm calling it now. I mean,
I'd even me for it. Okay,
it makes so much sense. I mean, all Selene
don't you
wants.
go at me, is it?
All Selene wants is a soul. If all they gotta do is buy him dinner first, that seems like a pretty easy deal, doesn't it?
It does. It does. I could change that. I don't think you could. I don't think anyone can. But after all these questions that Isaac had asked, the topic seems to draw back to the familiar Artemis, the one who Selene is taking the shape of currently. It was very curious that the half-elf had encouraged Isaac to indeed speak to Selene when she was so adamant and wanted not really anyone else to speak to her, leading the said shapeshifter to claim that Artemis doesn't truly care about Isaac. Isaac did agree with Selene, but he did know that their conversation needed to happen as it is important to him. And it was important to figure out why he is in the valley in the first place. It gets close to time where Isaac decides to leave, but before he does leave, he asks one last question to the shapeshifter and asks, when is enough for you? And Selene simply replies that enough will be when she finally gets what she deserves. But before he leaves, there's a few more jabs thrown around to the half-elf Artemis. And after that, Isaac leaves the auction house and starts heading home. He muses the shared hatred between the two of Selene and Artemis, and commenting about not gaining really any knowledge on his soul, but Selene did confirm that he did in fact still have one. And he head back to his workshop, he cleans up his surfaces as he left lots of notes everywhere. He's a very messy person apparently. But he had a new project, a glider, using Mythrill, as he had seen multiple people with wings with the use of Mythrill, so he set off out with a new project to fly.
Wonderful.
He's got to reach the moon, guys, you know. First man on the moon.
Oh, it's not. We're falling with style, gamers. We're falling with style.
Real. I
We
got
do
so
love...
tense. I got so tense having to recap that.
Oh, you did wonderfully. It's difficult when there's so much to go through. That was...
It's the fact I was there, I think, for me.
It is. We love Bryce Fizok. His lore is particularly intense for some reason. But we love it. We love it so much.
Ooh.
Well, I suppose I'll be taking the next one then, which happens to be the two of us. Can you believe
Just the
that?
two of us.
We can make it if we try. But we allow you all to enjoy the call of a friend. Which is a stream we were planning for so long.
Oh, I had... The thing is, I had this idea way back in Arc 1.
I had this idea way back in Arc 1, and neither of us communicated it to each other until like a month before we did it.
Yeah. We both had like...
I mean, you just hadn't like brought it up to me. I was actively trying to keep mine a secret because it was going to be a surprise initially, and I realized it would work better if it wasn't.
Yeah, just because of the contents we were talking about mainly.
Yeah. But the lovely Artemis Hermes spends her morning talking about Fizok and Celine, just like our previous little bit entailed. And as the sun sets, they decide to head to one of their newly built gazebos to attempt to summon an old friend of theirs, a demoness by the name of Karma, who people will know as being a large presence in the first arc of the SMP. Her and Artemis started a tentative friendship through the few summonings and interactions they had between each other. And at this moment in time...
The iconic one.
Very iconic. At this moment in time, however, all Artemis really needs is someone to be there for them. They're looking for a friend, and perhaps a shoulder to cry on. But Karma doesn't appear. However, Artemis does get magically transported to a new location, specifically a summoning room that belongs to Jay, her dearest friend, and a fae with a lot of secrets. Up until this point, we've never really known a lot about Jay and her past, and at the end of Arc 1, it was revealed that she had a connection with Karma, in which this room was first shown. I will also note that a cinematic was shown at the start of my stream, showing the first meeting between Jay and Karma, which I would pull up right now, but I have decided not to. No, I can't. I can't. I can't actually pull it up. I kind of forgot it existed until we got to this point. I will say. Just for a little bit of background, I suppose. But Jay immediately notices her dearest friend, very upset and tear tracks being on their face. She attempts to pry the reasoning out of Artemis, wanting to know what has their friend so saddened.
You intrigue me, Eclipse.
That's playing without me having it showing. There we go, we're going to turn the volume down that by quite a lot, so that can play in the background. But after a bit of prying, Artemis reveals why they are so sad. The main cause being Celine, how they have taken their shape, how Artemis feels like people prefer them to her, and many, many other points of note that have been gnawing at them for quite a while. Artemis has been a bit of a sad bean, haven't they, Elle? How dare you do this to our beloved viewers?
Oh my god.
How dare you be so torturous to them? How dare you? How dare you?
Not me making that the first canonical time Artemis has cried in front of people.
You love to break hearts. You love it. You love it.
It's so fun though.
This also leads to a little bit more information as Artemis reveals that her dearest brother, her twin Apollo, has perished a few months after leaving the valley. And Jay is the first person she tells. She's sort of been in denial about the whole thing. But saying it out loud, she is forced to confront the truth of the situation. Another family member gone. Free for
there is
free!
no family member. There is
Free
no
for
family
free!
members left.
We
3/4 of that family is gone.
But it's after these revelations and attempting to comfort her friend that Jay begins to speak of a few other things, revealing that her and Karma were a lot closer than people really believed them to be. In fact, you could call Karma her patron, with Jay technically being a warlock, which is very interesting. She also reveals that the reason Artemis wasn't able to summon Karma is because performing a summoning for a demon of that level requires a sacrifice of hundreds, alluding to the fact that she herself has done that sacrifice before in order to summon the demon for the first time, which we later learn was a village of people who weren't the kindest of souls. We also learn about Jay's past as they reveal that they were the princess of the Fae Courts of Night and Day, who went to war after she was kidnapped by her mother. Essentially, her father was the king of the Night Court, her mother was the princess of the Day Court. Her mother took her to the Day Kingdom when she was meant to be remaining with her father and refused to give her back, as the deal that was struck was done between her father and the Night Court's king, not the princess. That resulted in a war that went over the course of many, many years, till Jay's parents stabbed each other through the hearts right in front of her. She then lived on her own, not being able to stay in the Fae world for her own safety, or, well, more so within the courts. And eventually becoming incredibly lonely, which brought on her decision to try and summon one of the most powerful demons out there.
As you do.
You know, probably not her strongest thought process, but I mean, the only creature that is probably more hated than the Faes are demons. I guess she was looking for a kindred spirit. And she just so happened upon Karma, who is the person who told her to go to the valley to learn of its past. Her whole reason for being there, her whole driving force has been her one friend. And through going there, she met her soulmate Sky, who is unfortunately missing, and her dearest friend Artemis.
Wild.
I will also note that Jay's appearance has changed in this stream. Her eyes are darker, her ears are longer, and she has this strange discoloring on her arms, going up to her shoulders. Very, very fun.
Me when I didn't comment about it, but I stared at it so much, I was like...
When nobody has commented about it in lore as of yet. I've been in about 3 lore streams since then using the exact same skin, and no one has thought to mention it. I'm just waiting.
I was like, the thing is, I would have mentioned it, but let's be real, we both know that situation was not the time, really.
No, I mean, I mentioned at the end of my stream that it was a combination of magic and stress, since there has been a lot going on. And our little scholar is still trying to figure out the enchantments on Charlie's journals. But, yes, after a while of rather saddening talks, the two go on to a bit lighter of topics, the letters Artemis has been receiving from her fiancé, as well as the upcoming flying lesson, where they banter about pushing people off of cliffs.
I can't get over this. It
The
was
foreshadowing,
all
truly.
It was all a funny haha.
It was a funny haha. Aw. But yes. After a little bit of talk and a little bit of banter, Artemis asks to be sent home. Jade does so, and they call it there for the day. A nice little stream to open up a couple of truths and
2 truths, 1 lie, guys.
2 truths, 1 lie. It was sort of my thing with my character is a fae, so she is very, very secretive about a lot of stuff. I mean, her name isn't even her real name because, otherwise people will gain a modicum of power over her. But Artemis is the first person that she's told her past, aside from Karma. It was something that I think I mentioned briefly, but not even Sky knows the full extent of it in lore.
Yeah.
Of what Jay's life was like before coming to the valley.
Me when I know.
You when you know. You when you have the privilege. And she's the kind of person who gives information when she deems it necessary. Artemis is the only person who she's given information without it deeming it necessary. Because they're besties, Your Honor. They're siblings, Your Honor. They're star children, Your Honor.
I mean, she just lost her brother, so
they're star sisters.
Real.
But yeah. I was about to say you have another one, but no, it's the jelly stream.
Yeah.
I just saw your name uttered in there, and I was like, Elle wasn't a part of this. But it seems another member of the Valley has a letter to send. As our lovely half-demon Jelly sets their sights on writing a letter for their father.
You did. Boogie.
It's a very simple premise for this stream. Jelly, having left the demon plane to visit the valley after hearing of Karma's visit there previously, and being a big fangirl, decides to write to their father in the demon plane, explaining their sudden disappearance. They're not quite sure how to word the letter, but they push through. And they write about all the people that they have met. They write about how they've been staying with Jay, about how they befriended Honey, about how they have an internship at Artemis's woodshop. And they even write about the upcoming flying lesson, which they are looking forward to, since throughout their time in the demon plane, they were always told they would never be able to learn to fly, that their wings are too small compared to other Furies in order to do so. But compared to a lot of the other people in the valley, their wings are quite large, so it fills them with hope that they will be able to do what they are setting their sights on. They don't manage to send the letter in that stream, but they do get it written, and they stop by the bakery one last time to get some of their favourite cookies before calling it for the day. Oh god, we have some big ones coming up.
I know. I sat back up.
You sat back up. Oh, as you should, bestie. Would you like to take a fragile friendship?
I can.
Also, there's a reason I have called this one a fragile friendship, because I have plans for what I'm naming the future ones.
Oh, I can imagine.
I'm going with a theme. When something is fragile, well,
I'm fragile.
I'm fragile. My emotions are fragile. You take this one though, friend.
Me physically. So, as we all know, Katie, the lovely sea elf Katie, had left a note inside of the lovely Mars's house, saying that they should hang out again. So, the wonderful doctor of the currently of the harbour heads on over to the sea elf to catch up with them. But not before putting a gift together for the sea elf, consisting of a pie and a few white tulips. He heads on over and gives the said gift to Katie, and the two head over to her restaurant for something to eat. They talk as they head on over, and Mars comments to Katie that she seems far less bubbly than usual, which does make him lose his appetite. Concerned for his friend, Mars takes her to the pharmacy, asking if she's been taking care of herself. Unfortunately, this does in fact spark an argument between the two of them. Katie insisting that she knows how to look after herself. And it just gets worse, the argument from there. Katie does end up storming out of the pharmacy, telling Mars that no matter how good of a doctor he thinks he is, he can't understand what she's going through. Heading back home, Katie angrily mumbles to herself how pointless it is to be wasting her time in the valley when she'll be finding her way home. More determined now to find her family because she just wants to get home to them. At the same time, Mars is incredibly hurt from Katie's words. Attempting to calm himself and feel better, he has an attempt at some herbal tea. He heads down to the docks, trying to convince that Katie didn't mean what she said, that she was just upset and frustrated and probably tired. And remembers about the letter he was sending to his father, and he decides to check if it was indeed taken. And it was. And in the barrel where he had left his letter, he had found Jay's book shipment, which happened to contain a singular book on sea elves. After a moment of hesitating, Mars takes out the book, and he does read it.
And we have a lovely cinematic playing in the background right now of the lovely Marsarcy's actions after finding this book.
Yeah, because he then is shocked by the contents and finds it a little bit disturbing. He heads on home and buries it, as he doesn't want to know. He doesn't want Katie to know what it says.
Which brings up the question, what could be so terrible within that book to make Mars not want Katie to know?
I don't know, Joe. I don't know. I don't know at all.
No idea. I know. Katie doesn't know.
Yeah, Katie doesn't even know.
But I know. The fact that Katie knows where it is as well. There's not even a book in that chest on the server, though.
Yeah,
I've
it's
checked.
Just empty. No, yeah, we've all seen that. It's just
we've gone to many lengths to ensure Katie can't find out. Even the book that was left in the barrel on the day only had the first page of the book written.
Just in case Mars did open it.
Just in case they opened it or Katie found it. It also had the exact same page numbers, just nothing written on any other pages. Because, you know...
You've got to be careful.
You've got to be very, very careful. You know, Katie could find it. They could know. They can't know yet. It will be so fun though. This is one of my favorite things about this server is we have so many things that were planned so far in advance. Don't think you're safe, Rose. I see you in the chat. I have things planned for you, Rose.
Okay, that one, it's gonna be good.
That one's one of my favorites, Rose.
It's one of my favorites as well.
I don't think you're safe. Nobody is safe.
I'm not safe.
Moon's not safe.
No, I know. The thing is, I know I'm not safe. I'm so self-aware.
Nobody is safe. Nobody is safe. When I get an idea, I get an idea. Not even Elle is safe, guys. I'm the only person who's safe.
No, you're not even safe.
I wrote my own trauma.
Yeah, I know. The best thing is that me and Jay, we both write our own trauma and we help each other out write each other's trauma as well.
We've had a conversation where Elle's been, I want to do this, but I don't know how to do this. And my answer was something very drastic.
I know. It was the fact of, there could have been so many different ways we did it. You know what? That's a good idea.
Yeah. And then we ran with it.
We've gone with it.
But we can't spoil Arc 3 quite yet.
No.
Not at this point in time. Not at this point in time.
What a shame.
However, we are moving on to a new one. A new one, my goodness. Another stream. This one is a bit longer. As they always tend to get nearing the end of the month for some reason. But we are now onto the fabled flying lesson, which has been foreshadowed for about a month.
Yeah.
Fun fact about this stream, this was meant to happen, I think initially it was the end of March, then the beginning of April, then we had to move it to the end of April.
Yeah.
Because there was too many conflicting factors into putting it together. So it's been...
It's been a hot minute.
It's been a hot minute, but, you know, it's going great. It's going wonderfully.
But if you want to split this up as well, we can do.
Yes, we can go back and forth.
Yeah.
So I will go for now, and then I'll hand off to you in a moment.
Oh, good.
But Jay and Mars begin his pharmacy, continuing their conversation around honey's blood, since Mars has discovered a couple of properties of it, such as it being non-lethal to touch, it's not corrosive. I'm very proud of Mars for saying that word right still. I love Marsarcy.
I'm proud of my son.
I'm proud of my brother, my internet brother. But they go over the blood, and Jay notices that Mars was a little bit despondent, a bit out of it, zoning out so much. So they talk about it, with Mars revealing that they had an argument with Katie recently, something Jay tries to give them a bit of counsel on and a bit of comfort, saying that things will get better, more or less.
It's got to get better, guys.
It's got to get better eventually. But as Mars asks once more about what Jay happened to do with the third blood sample that she took, Artemis enters the building, interrupting the conversation.
Perfect timing.
That was so wonderful to plan that at the perfect moment.
Yeah.
But as Artemis enters the building, it reminds Jay that the flying lesson is happening soon and that they'll need to get to the location in order to greet the others who will be attending. And whilst Mars doesn't have a elytra of his own or any wings, being human, they allow him to come to spectate all of the fun that will take place during the lesson. And the three of them head towards the site. There was something I was going to mention. Oh, yes. For anyone who hasn't seen the previous episode, the blood sample that Jay took was given to Celine, but you can find out more information about that by checking out the Mythrill YouTube channel, where the first episode of Mythrill Monthly can be watched. Would you like to take it from this part for Honey and Jellies?
Yeah. So, as the three are in the pharmacy, Jelly does start to wander around the harbour, wanting to drop their letter off to see if it can get to their father, before heading on over to the flying lesson. But they bump into Honey at the docks and decide to head on over together, which is happening at the picnic site below the Three Arrows Tavern.
Yes.
Sorry, I've just haven't perishing myself. Cough.
Oh no, don't worry about it. I can go if you're coughing. It's perfectly fine. Get some water, Bestie. Get some water.
I have water right next to me. That's the thing.
Drink it then. Guys, gotta hydrate the L.
Oh my god. This is the thing. People have to force me. It's fine, guys, I promise.
But yes, Jelly, there we go, we've had a hydrate. Jelly and Honey head over to the picnic site together after Jelly drops off their letter in the barrel for their father to hopefully get at some point.
Yeah.
To hydrate myself.
As they head on over and meet the three Mars, Jay, and Artemis, they see a note lying on one of the blankets. It's very poorly written, and it turns out it is from the lovely Charlie Swarm.
Yes,
Jay
having...
Jay knowing
yeah,
Charlie's writing.
Seeing as Jay was the person to teach Charlie, or attempt to teach Charlie to write.
I mean, I got a word out of it.
You got a word out of it, but they managed to decipher what the message is trying to say, and find that Charlie has stayed home to continue building their bunker, also assuming that Charlie might have had a nightmare that has made them not want to leave their home at the moment.
This is where it gets great.
They start the flying lesson.
I continue the flying lesson.
Jay steps away for a moment, and would you like to tell us what you get up to while Jay steps away?
Oh, this is my favourite thing. Jay obviously leaves Artemis in charge to teach Honey and Jelly how to fly. Jelly had some instructions of jumping off the small little hill to try and get flight. Honey a little bit more natural to fly in. Artemis gives it as like, I mean, let's jump off the cliff. Let's see how you do that. So they head up to the tavern.
Bird style.
Yeah. It's the same way Artemis learned. She's like, what can go wrong? So Artemis and Honey head up to the tavern, where Artemis pushes Honey off the cliff. Luckily, Honey is able to fly and lands without an issue, getting closer to her, getting slightly closer to the concerning her fear of flying over
Conquering
land.
her fear. I think it autocorrected incorrectly.
Yeah, I was like,
thing.
My brain.
This is the problem with me being dyslexic. I hit autocorrect and it autocorrects incorrectly. We'll have to fix that.
Honestly, it can work, honestly.
It can work, but it's not the word I want. It upsets me.
Yeah. Honestly, if I thought about it, I could have phrased it as well, just better, saying concerning her fear of flying over land.
Yes. Honey's main issue is more of they don't want to crash into a mountain or
that's why I pushed her
onto the ground, so they're not too comfortable, whereas Jelly just hasn't properly flown before. But they all do the lesson together, Mars spectating, Jay giving instructions to Jelly to help them get more used to using their wing muscles, and Artemis helping Honey to conquer their fear of flying over the land to get them more comfortable doing it. Eventually they go to the water's edge to do some lessons, as it'll be a bit safer if they crash into the ocean than into a tree. And after both of them seem to have gotten the hang of flying around and taking off, Jay recommends that Jelly work on their landings, since they keep falling into trees. It just so happens on this final fly around, Jelly hits another tree, but this time they injure their arm. Probably around a sprain, according to the doctor on site, Mars. And to help with the pain, he gives her some medicine he had on him. Unfortunately, however, it turns out it wasn't medicine, it was the sample of Honey's blood. Jelly starts to have trouble breathing. They start coughing and wheezing, and in a panic, having realised what Mars had just given them, Jade instructs Artemis to take Mars and Honey away.
I gotta go babysit.
You were told to babysit. I did do that. Meanwhile, Jay takes care of Jelly, trying to coach them to breathe and realising that it's not going to work. And that they can't swallow the new, real medicine that Mars had given them because their throat is closing up. So they do the only thing they can think of. They use magic.
When in doubt, guys.
Yes, having previously taken Jelly's true name during their first meeting, Jay invokes it and forces their natural demon healing abilities to progress the healing of their body, as well as using a bit of their own magic to help heal them as well. This miraculously clears the poison from their system in a more or less full effect, leaving a couple side effects of a sore throat, more or less. the sprain on their arm still painful, but not nearly as bad as it was before either. Jelly asks how Jay did it, and she shamefully admits to having stolen Jelly's name, tries to explain her reasoning, and feels very, very guilty about it. Jelly's not really sure what to think and decides to head home to get some rest, assuring Jay that she can make it there on their own, whilst Jay heads to the tavern to look for Artemis and Mars to tell them that Jelly is all right. You can take it from here in explaining what you all were up to.
Oh, fancy. So, speaking of coughing,
terrible timing. Do another hydrate.
Right? I literally just have as well. So Artemis takes Mars and Honey and away and heads straight towards the tavern under the guise of visiting Aragon, the lovely Strider that stays there. While they head up, they pass the Nether portal, and Honey, not really knowing the full extent of the situation, decides to head home for the day. So Artemis and Mars head into the tavern, where Artemis does attempt to calm Mars down and ease his panic, but in fits of anxiety, Mars does admit to being sick himself. The half-elf promises to do anything to help him get better and to never give up on him. After a while of just talking and trying to get him to calm down, Jay arrives at the tavern to let them know that Jelly is alive and well. Jay does try to ease Mars's mind and asks Artemis where Honey went. They converse shortly, and then Artemis suggests taking Mars home, which they all agree that is a good idea. But not before Mars asks Jay to take the last remaining blood sample out of his pharmacy, no longer trusting himself to not mess up again.
Yes, it's rather sad after the interactions with Rose and their failure to really figure out what's going on with Honey's blood promptly, and Katie calling into question their abilities as a doctor. It's understandable that he's feeling a bit down about his abilities at the moment. Our poor little Mars. Poor precious boy.
Not my son.
Not my son. Oh no. Guy just can't catch a break. But
I know.
Yes, you guys return home to Mars's.
They head on to Mars's, but avoiding the water towards Katie's place, as Mars does mention that he had recently had a fight with Katie. Artemis offers to have a word with the said sea elf and offers to help out with the friendship in that sense. They arrive at Mars's lovely house, and Artemis reminds him to look after himself, before heading back to her own place. After she had left, Mars begins to have a coughing fit. He rushes upstairs to grab his medicine, and he comes to the realization that he's really close to running out.
Yeah, he'd given that bottle of it to Jelly previously to help after the blood, and, well, drunk a couple of himself. Now he's very, very low on his supply, which who knows what will come of that. But he has Artemis now.
Son. He does, yeah. She'll do anything for him.
She'll do anything for her son.
Real. She would.
You're gonna have to tell Loki that you've adopted a child now.
Yeah, I have.
Aw.
That's what happens.
Wonderful. But as for the other perspectives, Jay heads to the pharmacy, grabs the blood sample, returns it to her home, and finds some books that Artemis had written about the end to correct the scholar ones that she had in her library before that were based off quite foundless theories, truthfully. She takes them to her library and then sets down to start reading one of them. Jelly, meanwhile, having gone through the portals to return to to return to Jay's house above the ocean, not trusting themselves to fly at the moment, feel very conflicted. They start blaming themselves for ruining the lesson, for getting hurt, for all of these other things, and comparing their time in the valley to their time in the demon plane with how they thought it was going to be so much better, but it just seems to be getting worse and worse. Not thinking that Jay trusts them, seeing as they stole their name, and not fully understanding what that means, Jelly takes Beelzebub, their horse, or Beelzebub, and heads towards Honeys, who had previously offered them a place to stay on their island. After having gone to the tavern with Mars and Artemis, Honey decided to head home themselves from the flying lesson, no one having told them what happened to Jelly, or that their blood had been involved at all. So they're completely ignorant to the happenings. However, when they reach their home, they find a letter in their mailbox from the mysterious Breeze, an unknown figure who has been talking to them for quite some time now. And in this note, it mentions how their blood is a powerful thing, and they should be careful who they trust it with. I'm sure they will gain the context for that note soon, but till then, Jelly returns to the island to see their friend and asks for a place to stay, being set up in the guest house until they can get their own situation started there. And the two go to bed for the night, I suppose. And oh boy, that was a stream jam-packed full of things and information. We had two big reveals there. Jay having Jelly's true name, quite a powerful thing for a Fae to have from a person, and Artemis learning of Mars's illness. A very concerning feat going on at the moment, I would say.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, indeed. Things are heating up in the kitchen. It's very, very spicy.
It's so fun.
I wonder what more will happen from these events. I do wonder. But what I'm wondering right now is, do inventors dream of jelly donuts?
I think a certain inventor dreams of jelly donuts.
Would you like to take us away with our lovely inventor who dreams of jelly donuts?
I can indeed.
Wait, also, before you do that, we have this lovely screenshot that I took during this lore, as we sometimes do. Last Mythrill Monthly episode, we had an accidental Marsarcy jump scare. Oh, yeah. There's another one.
Oh, I love that.
I just have really big zoomed in screenshots of Mars's face on my screenshot list.
What? I can't fault you for that.
We need to get a collection at the end of the server of every screenshot anyone has taken of Mars.
Oh, I have so many.
I want to make a collage of them. I want to make a collage. Why do I have so many? Because I love Mars.
We need one every episode. Real. Okay, we'll do it.
You know what? I will try. This is a bit. It's my favorite bit now. It's my favorite bit.
Ultimate bit.
All right, but you may continue with this one.
An inventor's treat.
Oh, I need to change the title. Fuck me.
It's okay. It's okay. So, 1 minute. Being the lovely inventor around Mythrill Valley.
Even though I realise I spelled it wrong on the lore catch-up.
It's okay.
I'm dyslexic.
Has a Hoover shop, as most people know. And they head on over to see if they need to restock and gather their earnings. As the inventor passes through, they see a new flyer for a bakery selling jelly donuts, which just happens to be his favorite snack ever. With a new girl Bean makes their way and tries to find this bakery, which they eventually find in a new part of the harbour. As they scurry over, as they are very excited for sweet treats.
And they're about to find the sweetest treats inside.
No.
That being an Artemis Hermes.
But with that excitement suddenly leaves, and nerves hit as they enter the bakery, only just to see the owner of said bakery, Artemis Hermes, inside. They all quickly make a conversation with each other, having only really spoken once at the lovely Jay and Sky's wedding, which was a couple of months back at this point, which leads them both to discussing some of the oddities happening within the valley. Mentioning being an inventor and bringing up the Hoovers being sentient of some sort, Artemis brings up the living statue, Honey, and Bean does take a really particular interest to the statue, who has now a living person, thinking it could give them answers to their own problem with that.
You trying to read that part because I got illiterate?
I know what it says. My brain just went dead. I was like, what?
No, that's
mechanical
fair. Mechanical
Mythrill
Heart.
Mythrill Heart. That's in their island.
Yes, that we've been seeing in their quest line, which is very interesting.
But Bean, they're not very keen on social interaction, so they leave just as much as quick they has got there. They pay for the donuts and say goodbye to the half-elf, taking one final stroll around the harbour, having not been there for a while. But making sure they avoid certain places, not to run into people. They find themselves near the auction house, and outside they see someone they assume to be Artemis, or as it is, someone with a striking resemblance of them. And right outside the building.
I've seen this before.
Before heading inside. Confused.
I've seen this room before.
Confused
and
by
like
this.
The ending. I'm sorry, continue.
No, it's okay.
Taylor Swift is here.
Getting confused by Artemis's appearance again, and how quick they had gotten there. They left as quick as they could because they did not want to deal with more people. So the lovely inventor Bean heads on home with a mind full of questions, but a bag full of jelly donuts. The question is, why Celine here?
Why is Celine there?
Why?
I mean, it's their auction. It makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's very exciting. Also, don't mind me answering it.
No, do that, Slayer.
I'm gonna be honest. I keep muting because I keep getting like I started bleeding at one point and I had to leave and I was like, oh no.
Oh my goodness.
I'm going through it today. I'm fine.
We're fine, guys. Why wouldn't we be fine?
It was just like a thing on my arm that I picked, and then it was like, oh no, that's blood. Okay.
That's what happens, Jay.
And then it happened in a different place. And I'm like, what is happening? It's right under my eye. Oh no, it's fine. I'm good. Also, when the person I'm DMing comes into the chat.
Oh my god. I know who you're DMing. I know who you're DMing now. Teehee. No, like, do you know on your on your face, Rose? Like, it's most likely.
It's like, yeah, it's like, honestly, it's like a little bit underneath my eye. It's not on my eye. It's under my eye. Oh, that is a lot more stuff there than I actually thought there was because my finger just touched it. Oh no.
Maybe go.
I'm gonna grab a new tissue.
Yeah, go grab your tissue and such.
Oh, but we're getting to such a lovely part though.
I know, right? Don't worry,
actually,
I'll keep them entertained.
We don't have any more bean stuff coming in the future, but if you
I can tell them what law stuff's happening soon. If you want me to.
No, do a little recap on, because we mentioned the mechanical heart that Bean has.
Okay, I can
do a little thing
okay.
on that. I'll be right back.
No. So, the mechanical heart we were talking about, lovely people, is the first. Oh my goodness, I can't. Is the steam powered heart quest where Bean finds this literal mechanical heart in the island that they live on, and this heart has given them a quest so far into helping them out. In the second one, they received a compass that leads them to a Mythrill catalyst, which they found in a shark-shaped submarine. They also find some blueprints for a hammer.
Ooh, yes, their fancy little hammer, which was totally not me. Being like, Bean's not going to get Mythrill tools because they don't look for the stuff. Let's give them alternatives.
And the heart also allowed Bean to ask some questions. As a thanks for helping them. I don't know what pronouns this heart has, Jay. What pronouns do I use?
I mean, it's a thing. It's a thing, so technically it, but I suppose you could just use any for it, because I mean, it can talk.
Guys.
So
the heart uses any pronouns. It's canon.
I think it's safe to assume if it's a character that I have come up with for this server or a thing I have come up with, it uses any pronouns until specified otherwise.
Yeah.
Should we do a quick little pronoun check for some of the NPCs?
Yeah, we can go around.
So the mechanical heart is it/any. But that's with it as a mage one because it is technically an item. Loki, Mimir.
Okay. He's like he.
I see. Hilaria is a she, her. Timothus is... Honestly, Timothus gives me a he, they vibes.
Yeah, he gives me he, they.
He gives me he vibes. He vibes? Stephen Savali is a he, him.
Yeah, definitely.
Charlie Swarm. Charlie's pronouns are in the thingamabob, but I assume they were the same during the past as they are in the future. So that is very fun.
You know what? Timothus gives me Newt Scamander vibes. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're correct. Charlie uses, I want to say they, she is what Charlie uses. It might have changed.
I can double check. Hold up.
I think it says on the character bio in the Mythrill Discord.
It says they, she in our Discord. And I will check the character bios.
Okay, apparently it's any preference she, they.
Yes.
From their bio, which I had them fill out, which is lovely to know. Any other NPCs that we've had? I mean, Jay's parents don't matter, but they go by he, him, and she, her for the dad and the mum. I will say
Celine's pronouns have changed because they used to be any, but I am not personally comfortable with certain pronouns.
Yeah.
So they're like near enough the same as mine. I don't mind she when referring to Celine because...
Yeah, I think I think for a separation thing, I've been more so referring... I know I also call Artemis she.
Yeah, no, like this Artemis. Okay, character Artemis.
Yes.
Is she there?
Yeah, character Artemis is a she there.
Me,
Celine,
I'm not a she.
Yeah.
So I'll never be her. I had to say it.
Celine, I've been primarily doing she with them, but they do like she, they.
Yeah, it's like I like they are she there, but I would like their Celine is she there, and I'd say Artemis there she.
That's what I was gonna say.
Like it's the opposite way around because when I write my notes, I change between she and there.
Yeah.
But when I talk about Celine in notes, I just use she primarily, so I know the difference.
Yeah, Karma is a she they. During their first appearance, one of Ava's 3 questions was what their pronouns were, and it was she they.
Yeah.
And Warren hasn't been seen yet, but he goes by any.
Man doesn't deserve
it's canon in the Mythrill universe that any god doesn't have a gender and they go by any pronouns. Celine has to be she because Celine knows she is.
Oh God. I love that because I'm like, I don't use. This is like, I don't use she because I will never be her.
Who is she?
It makes so much sense, guys. It adds
up. Other NPC, Marnie, the maid from Ava's.
Okay, we were talking about Marnie today.
Marnie is I think Marnie is a she, her, but I also think Marnie wouldn't really care if someone got it wrong.
She's too nice.
She's too kind. She'd be like, you calling me he, him? That doesn't bother me much. Just don't be an asshole like Ava's dad.
Yeah. It's like, okay, if you purposely try to get it wrong, she'd be pissed, but like if you did it by accident,
yeah, she'd be like,
I think it depends who you are as well. Clive, what are Clive's pronouns?
Clive,
honestly, he gives me they, he.
Yeah, Clive's they, he. That is subject for change if Charlie decides it, but I think Clive is a they, he.
Well, I know Charlie uses he for him at least.
Yes.
And I think Charlie's also used they for Clive's.
I think that's fine. Oh, and I have the Twitter. Well, this is a Mythrill Twitter promo because I forgot the whiteboard was down when I was closing things. I'm
gonna close your DMs to the side there.
Yeah, there was nothing there. It's fine.
Literally, as Bryce says.
Hey, you just saw the person. You don't know what we were talking about.
Yeah, when I know.
Shut up.
I know everything, guys.
But we'll stop stalling now because I'm slightly less bleeding.
Oh yeah, I forgot we had another one.
Yeah, we do. How could you forget the Bryce Fizek? The Bryce Fizek Black Rose when he is one of the best men. One of the only men in the SMP.
Yeah, I was about to say it's the one of two men.
He's one of two men.
It's not that hard. Not that hard.
Bryce Fizek is my favourite man who is not my internet brother.
He's my I can't say that because he is my internet brother.
But he's not your internet son.
No, he's not. But then Caspian also exists, and he's my IRL and my internet brother.
But he's not your internet.
He's both.
It's 2:45 p.m. Wake up from open.
See, I wake up at night, like 9 a.m. Thank you. Haha.
I don't.
I have a sleep schedule. No, it's a lie.
You don't sleep. You might be awake, but you don't sleep. We gotta stop stalling.
We're not stalling, we're just talking.
We're just talking. We got very sidetracked. This is what happens when you have an ADHD and a suspected ADHD in a call together.
Yeah.
This is why we shouldn't run this podcast, but who's going to stop us? It's why we should run this podcast. It's why
we should, because we're entertaining.
Entertain us. Okay. But deep in one's soul, one of the most recent lore streams going into this month now, for the first week, we have a stream between myself and Bryce Fizek, and I'm realising I did quite a bit of lore this last month.
Yeah, everyone comments about me and slanders me.
Says the person who has 2 lore streams on one day this week.
Okay, we don't talk about it.
I'm talking about it. Watch Elle on the 8th.
The thing is, I'm not streaming it.
You're not streaming it. Well, watch the perspectives. It's whatever. But the lovely Fizek, having just constructed their glider, sets to work testing it out by hopping off of a bridge, which doesn't seem like the smartest way to test something you've just made, but
honestly,
live and learn, I suppose.
Artemis made that.
Live and learn. One of the best Sonic the Hedgehog songs.
Every time I have hope. I have hope from you do it at times.
It's no use, Elle.
You get it up and you screw it up and you stomp on it. And I die inside a little bit.
I don't stomp on things, I spin dash on them. Don't leave the call, please.
You knew exactly what I was going to do.
No, we're continuing.
I hovered over that leave call button.
But
do I leave Jer here?
No, please don't. So Fizek tests out his elytra. Thankfully, it is successful, and he does not become a Fizek pancake on the floor. Remembering that Artemis suggested using rockets when trying to fly with one, since they help out quite a bit. Whilst he's flying around, he can finally reach Jay's floating island, and he decides to pay the Fae an unexpected visit. Jay, who had just finished cleaning up the space that Jelly had previously occupied, having read their letter saying that they have left to go stay with a friend, Faiza calls down to her, and they both begin a conversation, heading to her home library to talk things through. In search of some answers, as always, Faizok starts to tell Jay about his little incident before he came to the valley. The collapsed ruin, the mysterious person, all of these little details that Jay tries to pick apart to put it together. What she's trying to help with. Eventually asking if this strange voice that he heard was his patron, which makes Faizok rather flabbergasted as he doesn't have a patron. After some staring and some sort of magical exchange, you could say, Jay breaks the news that Faizok is actually a warlock, with an unknown patron who has no idea how he made the pact in the first place. She reasons that it must have something to do with that accident he was involved in and the person who saved his life, and notes how dangerous it is to be a warlock and not know who your patron is, seeing as a warlock patron has quite a bit of control over the warlock as a person, as they are the one who they are drawing magic from. Which is something we might talk about after this, because I have a very, very complex set of different creatures who could use magic, and it's very fun for me.
I wonder who can use magic.
I wonder how it works. But I had a thing in my throat, Jesus.
Hello, I'm Jesus.
Hello, Elle. You are Jesus. But they start to go over a couple of things. The incident Vice is involved in. He shows Jay the sword him and Artemis discovered and tells her a bit about where it was found. She comes up with a theory on the exact... Yes, I am aware that I made a typo, Ash. I mentioned it a couple minutes ago, don't worry about it. This is why I need people to read through my stuff and yell at me.
You know what? Every time you write a law catch up, DM it, man.
You have access to the document.
Oh, is it in the document?
Yes, it's in the document. That's where I write them all.
You know I forget this stuff. Do you know what?
we have a master list document of every single law catch-up, and Elle forgets they can read it.
I thought you should stop saying it. Just stop it. Elle forgets.
What did you think I was telling you to do last night?
Jay, I literally was sat there like, how am I meant to read it? I just went.
I literally said to you, it's on the doc.
No, wait, hold up. Wait,
okay, I didn't literally say to you, but I said it was on the thing.
No, yeah, you... Wait, hold up. That's mine and Moon's DM. I need...
Elle, we've got to stop getting sidetracked.
This is important. This is the most important one.
I can't believe you. I can't believe you.
Crikey, we have a lot. Yeah, you say feel free to fact check it first. I'm like, how? I was like, oh yeah, you're gonna send it me. You didn't say it was. You didn't say anything about document, Jay.
Well, I assumed that you knew, but apparently I assumed too highly.
I'm going to look for this document.
You find the document. You fix my spelling mistakes, but yeah, that will be corrected soon. Most likely. I should not be the one writing these, but I'm a control freak. Anyway, actually continuing on. They talk about the sword and its location, Jay sharing her theory on the area perhaps being someplace that Karma helped build to harbour people from the calamity, but which Warren might have found, considering the amount of bodies that were left around. She noticed that the sword is very powerful, destructive in nature, specifically, and that, what's the word? That it could kill about almost anything, lest they be a god, which is quite a statement towards this very strange sword. It's very interesting, I do believe. And Faizok seems to believe it came from whoever their patron could be, or at least that's what they theorize themselves. Even more fun. We do love the unknowns.
I love them so
I
much.
love the unknowns when we actually know.
Yeah.
But
imagine not knowing.
After discussing this, they talk a bit about Celine, Faisok's recent meeting with the shapeshifter, as well as what they could possibly be. Jay throwing out vampire, Fizok asking about potentially fae. They go a few possibilities, throwing back theories and other such things, till eventually Jay gives Fizok a bit of an impromptu magic lesson, having him decipher the enchantments placed on a book, and him becoming almost blind from the magic that comes out of him, since he's inexperienced and not used to the glow. Imagine little baby mage.
I know, little baby man.
Little baby mage. But yes. After giving him a couple of books to read up on, one containing some information about warlocks, the other some information about vampires, they bid their farewells and head on their way. I like your funny words, Magic Man. I do, Mars. I do.
I love when Mars says that.
That's a quote from Clone High.
I know.
I haven't seen the show, but I know that one line because it's funny.
You're funny. Magic.
You're adorable.
Sorry. No, you.
Hey, you. But yeah, as Vysok returns home, he uses his newfound magic to send a message to Artemis magically so that he can discuss these new revelations with his new friend. And
Yay.
that is more or less what goes through. A couple of things I didn't include in the catch-up since I remember them off the top of my head. They talk a little bit about the upcoming auction. Fizok also sees Celine leave the invitation for that at the end of this stream, I do believe. Did that happen, or was that?
No, that was not this stream.
That was not this stream. Okay, never mind. We've mentioned that the Celine has offered to personally invite it, though. Me getting my wires crossed. I didn't include that in the catch-up. I just thought, ow! Sorry.
It's okay.
I've scratched myself again. I'm starting to think my nails might be too long.
Yeah.
Oh, don't mind me having a moment. But they talk about the auction a bit, and how Fizok will be attending, but Jay is trying to figure Celine out and might not be if they manage to. Jay also mentions keeping an eye on the resident in the valley, a particular explosion salesperson,
I wonder
who has been sneaking around a little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit.
A little.
Interesting to see what that might be alluding to. But with that, we seem to have one final thing to go through, which is a little bit of a strange one. Not a strange one, but more of a strange one for us to recap. Because this is actually one that you guys can go and watch yourselves.
I was me literally going, what?
Huh?
In my brain. Because I was like, what
I will put this in the chat right now. This is A Phantom Arrives, which is Ava's recent video, which they showed on their stream the other day. They're doing their Mythrill lore as a video series. And it's a very good video, very well edited. It takes off from the Masquerade, a week after the Masquerade, where they then got sent to Limbo. And then picks up from their first meeting with Jelly. It does miss the introduction to Ava returning to the valley after leaving the Limbo, which was a stream that we covered in the last Mythrill Monthly episode, where Ava and Elle, or Artemis, walked around the harbour and had a impromptu therapy session.
Isn't that every time I do lore with people half the time?
More or less. But since we've already gone over the Jelly and Ava's interaction on this, would you like to go over what you remember of your interaction with them as I play the video in the back?
Yeah. So Ava heads over to Artemis as she does remember that the books from the Masquerade were in the half-elf's possession after her brother leaving, and then unknowing to Ava passing away, they now were hers, and Artemis had let Ava know that if she ever wanted them back, to just come and talk to her. So they went and spoke, and they walked around for a bit to make sure everything was okay, and Ava wanted to speak a little bit more of what had happened, try and get it off their chest to make them feel better. And at the very end of their therapy, Artemis wanted to make sure that Ava was 100% wanting these books, to make sure they were comfortable with it, but at the same time, she didn't know if it was the best option for Ava. But she hands over the books and doesn't know what Ava's going to do with them or anything apart from the only suggestion of helping them find out who they were or what their life was like before they had passed away.
Seems a little phantom.
I'm everyone's therapist.
You are everyone. I mean, Jay kind of gave you therapy.
Yeah.
That was the one exception.
She's the only person that's seen Artemis cry. I think she's fine.
Yes. But yeah, it's a very, very well put together video that you can see scrolling in the background, some lovely cinematic shots. We do very much encourage everyone to go and check the full thing out so they can understand the full story that Ava is putting together. It's very, very interesting. But yeah, it seems our resident ghost is attempting to figure out a bit more about their past, and it will be interesting to see what they find going forward.
Spooky.
What did you just say?
I said spooky.
I thought you said bouquet.
Nah, spooky.
Spooky.
It's that accent, you know.
It's the northern in ya.
It's the accent I have,
off to pub, are ya?
Me when I own 2 taverns on the server.
Me when you don't drink.
Yeah.
Me when neither of us drink. We should do a drinking stream when you come visit, but it's just drinking fruit shoot.
Real.
We just
real.
I mean, I'll have a cider, but
no, the thing is, I have a relative who like makes alcohol, and he like always gave everyone like a bottle for Christmas when they turned 18, but due to like medical stuff, I got mine last year. So I still have that. That has been unopened. So you can see how much I drink.
Yeah, it's very, very fun. Mocktails, though, mocktails are pretty nice. I had a really good mojito while I was at school, actually. They gave me a mojito at school.
Checks out.
It was non-alcoholic. It was really minty, so I really liked it, but I haven't had a good one since.
Yeah.
But yeah,
checks out for a British school, though, still.
Oh, it's so true, so true. It was a drama teacher as well.
Oh, no, drama teachers, 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10, 10 out of 10.
They built a...
But yes, that is all of the lore for today. We're not going to end quite yet. What should I put on? I just get rid of the title for now, since we're not really talking about anything too much. Let's go over a bit of the lore that is going to be happening in the next coming days. I know a lot of it hasn't been announced yet, but I think anything that has a day, I think we're fine to really say that these dates are things.
100%.
Do you want to go through those, since I know you're the one who's been putting the dates in the chat? Try to do them in order, because I will cry.
Oh yeah, no, I will. Because I'm going to sort them out anyway and put them ordered, like I normally do. So, the next lore thing that is happening is on Monday, the 8th of May, at 5 PM BST, with Mars and myself. There's going to be more Artemis and Mars lore. I believe Mars is streaming it, question mark. I say believe because I'm sure, I think he
will be.
I think he said, I'm going to be recording it, I will say, so there'll be a POV of my side of it at some point.
Your lovely little YouTube videos, which I do adore so much.
And I might put it on for like a rerun, just so you can all see it.
That could be cute.
We can just watch it. After that, there's more lore on the same day. Wow.
Yes, later. What time?
Which is it? 10 p.m. BST.
I see.
This is why everyone's been getting on at me. Because it is Jelly and Artemis lore. Yay!
Oh, 2 in 1 day. And then what is happening on the 9th, my dear friend?
This is also why everyone's been getting on at me. Because it's Isaac on Artemis lore the next day.
My goodness.
11 p.m. BST.
Yes.
And then after the 8th and the 9th, there's a couple of days where there's no lore happening to them.
At the current moment, that has been organised.
Yeah, everywhere.
We have a couple of days of rest.
The next one is the 12th of May.
Which is the final of the Familiar Waves storyline between Moon and Monet.
And Monet at 11:30
The Last Ancient City,
PM.
which I am very much looking forward to. Not us doing some work for that stream today.
Literally. So glad no one's on the server at that time.
Oh, it was very ideal. Let's just say a lot of death messages were going in the chat.
Yeah, and after that one, there's another few days break at the moment. 17th of May at 4 p.m. BST, there is Mars and Katie lore going to happen.
Yes, which is very, very exciting. I'm looking forward to it. We have a couple of other stray stream ideas.
I thought you were going to say stray people. I was like, we
have a couple
strays.
of stray cats. I mean, you do drop strays, Elle. That is your whole personality.
Okay, they're my kids. It's different.
Not before you adopted them. And before that, what were they?
You are one of them, Joe.
Yes, and I'm saying I used to be a stray.
Yeah.
Oh. But as of right now, we have a good couple of lore ideas and streams that are currently in the foundational work period, where we're trying to sort out ideas and then put in dates. But, you know, not everyone is the kind of person to get a date out. Oh, I love you so much for putting those all in order on the chat. Oh my god, thank you. That was annoying me. That was annoying me.
No, I always go, when there's like a chunk, I always go through and put them all in order.
I'm so glad that you did, and this is showing my... We're gonna just ignore my watch history. No, don't play Mars as a robot.
I love that.
It's Ace Attorney. It's Ace Attorney.
Me now getting rid of the evidence of people telling me to look after myself.
No! Okay. But yeah, we
not
have
in my stream plans.
A good amount of lore that we are hoping to get done this month. Because we have a lot of things that we want to get done before the auction event, which I can't reveal a working date for as of yet because it is subject to change.
Yeah,
but it will be.
We're still working on it, guys.
Right now, end of this month, beginning of next month. At some point is our current working date for the auction, which is going to be our second server event with a lot of people attending, hopefully.
I'm looking at you, Mythrill members.
I'm looking at you, Mythrill members. But we have a couple of streams that we have to get done beforehand, which this is the fun part about sort of being the directors of this SMP, is people will have lore ideas and we'll be like, okay, I love this, but in order for this future thing that we want to do to make sense, this has to happen before it. And then that means that things get delayed. So we currently have a handful of streams that we're waiting on with some of my favourite people, which we are very much looking forward to.
I wonder.
I do wonder who those people could be. But they're going to be very, very fun. I am really, really looking forward to them. And yeah, is there anything in particular else that we should talk about?
You should join the Mythrill Discord.
You should join the Mythrill Discord. Check out the YouTube because this episode of Mythrill Monthly will be posted there over the next coming days. It will take a hot minute because, you know, a couple hour-long VODs take a while to upload to YouTube, and I can't export them directly from Twitch because it's not linked to the correct YouTube channel. But I will get on posting that very, very soon, so you guys can have the VOD to go and rewatch whenever you please.
Lit.
Very much slay, very much slay. Aside from all of the streams that are going to be happening in the future, be sure to check out the Twitter because that is the best place to go to in order to see when lore is being planned. I do think we should add a lore ping to the public Discord.
And also,
or maybe not even add a lore ping, maybe just do an at everyone in the announcement channel whenever there is lore that is set to happen. Just like on the day.
Yeah.
With the time converter thing. We should start work on doing those. I think that will be our goal for this month.
That's probably something more I do.
Yeah, that can be one of your jobs if you would like to take it up. We're always looking for suggestions though in the Mythrill Discord if anyone wants to give them. Because we do very much enjoy.
That's very much so enjoy. Frightening. Yeah.
You
should suggest some quirky things because you're all fun and quirky.
You should suggest all of the cute little quirky things. Yeah, I am just excited, honestly. We're getting to the point where the auction, I would say, is the midway point, or with how things are being paid, it's the midway point in terms of tension, in terms of the actual server, like Ep.2 length. It really depends because we're hoping to finish off like around start of summer so that we can get Ep.3 started during summer.
Yeah.
But obviously, when working with so many wonderful people, it's all conjecture to what they want to do and stuff. And obviously, people can do lore streams during the downtime between the two arcs.
I'm a perfect
you're
example
a prime example.
During like the Christmas month, like December, there was like obviously no lore because the in between I was still doing stuff.
Yes, but that becomes extra exciting because things on the horizon, excitement to be had. We are very much looking forward to just everything that is coming in the future. Does anyone have any things from the lore that we've gone over today that they find particularly interesting? Do you have anything that you particularly liked about the lore from last month, Ep.1 Pharaoh?
People. I like the people.
I love the people. I love the Mythrill members. They're some of my favourite people.
My favourite thing was, so this is from a more logistic standpoint. We all know how I am with logistical stuff.
Yes.
Planning last month with people was really kind of fun and good. Because, obviously, the thing that I do mainly in the server is that I get dates and times from people. Stop it.
What do you mean?
I see you right there.
What do you mean, my dearest co-host?
And the fact whenever like I message someone saying, hey, I know you said you're doing this thing, do you have a date and time for it? Like, yeah, we thought of this date and I'm like, sick, and I go put it in, and they've been really easy to work with recently, especially.
Yes, I really appreciate everybody. I appreciate you immensely for helping to organize. Because I'm very good at doing the technical side behind the server, the texture packs and the data packs and all of that sort of stuff. But you're very good at the managing people. Yeah. I'm not the best at DMing people. I get a little bit scared about it because of social anxiety reasons, but
for me, I've always in my from when I was little, I've always been forced into social environments with if I've wanted to or not.
Yeah.
So that's the way I've gone with it with content creation and stuff, is that I have to do this or nothing's gonna happen. So that's what I do with lore. I'm like, if this doesn't happen, this isn't gonna happen. So I need to message.
I'm progressively getting better. My thing is I need to today I sent a lot of messages out, but I had to make a list of everyone who I had to message. And it feels a bit less daunting if I'm doing multiple people at once for some reason.
Yeah.
But I feel like my problem is, one, I don't like to only message people to do with the server and lore.
I get that.
Because I feel bad. But also, when I message people, I tend to send really long paragraphs. Because I like to be... you'll see this if anyone is in any Discord that I own, when I do an announcement, they tend to be really long because I like to explain all the information that needs to be conveyed so there is no miscommunications happening. I dropped my fidget toy.
That's one thing I like is when you're concise and clear.
Yeah.
Because Jay does most of the announcements in the private Discord of the Mythrill server. You can really tell when I've typed something Jay has put, told me to put, and when it's something I have put. Because I'm short and sweet about it. I'm straight to the point.
You're straight to the point. I will go through every minute detail to make sure everybody understands. But I do tend to waffle a little bit too much. I do feel, which makes me feel bad. One thing that has been added to the server recently, actually, which people might have been noticing, was you no longer see people's name tags.
Oh, we all love it.
Yes, I figured out.
We saw that out of it.
It was actually inspired by another SMP. I did some research and managed to figure out how to hide name tags. Only unfortunate thing about it is that invisibility potions are now kind of useless.
Let's be real. Who's used them?
Nobody. The only person who has used it has been Moon, and that also had the same issue.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things. If somebody wants to do something while they're sneaking about with invisibility potions, we'll
you
take
just
them
pretend
off
you cannot see them, or we
we
will remove the effect from them for that particular stream.
Yeah, or just make a new team where they're just separate so no one can see them. Just call it Invis
exactly.
team.
It does exactly.
It's just so no one sees them.
But yeah,
So,
I was rather proud of myself for figuring that one out.
Oh yeah, we were sat there.
We were sat there and being like, "Is this possible?" And it was possible, and I was happy about it. It was also really funny because I had Celine's skin on, and in order to test if I did it correctly, I logged a Karma account on. So it's just 2 deities on the server, and Bryce Fizok was there, and I would move forward on one account and then switch to the other one and move forward again, and he started getting really scared.
I loved it. It was hilarious.
Both of them were moving towards him.
The best thing is, while this was going on, I was trying to find this bee called Laggy Bee because I don't know where this bee's come from, but it's been hanging out around my tavern.
I have a feeling either Katie or Moon named them.
If anyone's got any of the Mythrill members, if you've lost a bee called Laggy Bee, I know where he is. He's around my tavern somewhere. Yeah, like I don't know how
he might have escaped Moon's cafe because I know me and Katie left the doors open accidentally.
Right, of course you did. That checks out.
It was when I was murdering them. It was fine. Oopsies. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. It has to be fine. Don't mind us. What happens on Mythrill SMP stays on the Mythrill SMP. I guess a final cute thing to talk about. We have someone hacking on the SMP. You think that's something that we should do something about?
Depends.
I mean, it could be funny. Should we do it for the Vine?
Do it for the Vine.
I'm really showing my age, aren't I, with that? Should we do it for the Vine?
Yeah, we really are. Not just you, Chair, both of us.
I'm only 20. It's fine. It's fine.
The fact Evie went today. Mother, can you age 3 years? I went, what? I'm only I find it funny that half the people like I have adopted are older than me.
Me being one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it stop me though? No.
Never. But we have quite a lot of work set out ahead of us for this month.
Yeah, I need to build that thing.
You need to build... We need to finish the thing that you started building on your island today. For one.
Wait, which thing?
The thing that is an eyesore.
Oh, Jay. Wait, I've been doing it this whole time. I've practically built it out of wool.
Oh, of course you have.
It's so beautiful. I'm going to put a picture in the private Discord for people.
Do it. But we have some build projects, quite a few build projects to complete before the arc's end, which we are doing work on. I have also the Arc 2 member art, which that's an important thing to know. We concluded the Arc 1 member art that was released last month.
Yay.
We finally got through it all. It only had been, 4 months?
Yeah, something like that.
We have quite a few of them. In total right now, of the Arc 2 member art, I have 3 more pieces to do, which I will be going through tomorrow. However, we have another art piece which I am intending to share before we start sharing the rest of those. So, I need to actually DM some people, to try to figure out a time frame for me to be able to post that. But once this art is posted, we will then get the final 3 we'll start posting the Ep.2 members, and I'll finish up the final 3 art pieces. And then I have quite a lot of art to work on, mostly because I'm trying to get a bit of a backlog for Arc 3 started already. But I'm also planning to work on some art of the deities, which is exciting. I've had to sketch for Karma for ages, and we have already shown off the past Celine design. I believe on the last Mythrill Monthly episode, which was very pretty. I was very proud of that art piece, but since we've had a cast change in who plays Celine, I will be making a new piece for them. Once again, taking the pose from Fire Emblem art, because yes, Fire Emblem, yes! But
it makes me laugh every time.
I love it. I love it. They have really good poses, honestly. That's why I like to take reference from them. They're just really good poses.
No, it's not a bad thing.
No, I also love the game franchise. It's just wonderful. It's just wonderful. And then aside from the art, and the texture pack update, which I've already gone over, and the builds, well, I say aside from that, that's quite a lot of stuff for us to do, considering we have like 3 months.
The fact that's not even all of it.
We have 3 months.
Oh, I know. It's fine.
We're doing great. It's actually pretty fun. It's very enjoyable. We put a lot of passion into this project, so we're very happy that people are enjoying it. We appreciate everybody's support very immensely, very, very immensely. And I'm just looking forward to all of the lore that's gonna be happening this month.
Me too.
Hooray! I'm also looking forward to the lore that's gonna be happening next month. Hooray!
I love lore. Live, laugh, lore.
Live, laugh, lore, everyone. Live, laugh, lore. But I do believe with that, there's nothing else for us to really talk about on this episode of Mythrill Monthly. So
I don't think there is.
I don't believe there is. Let me do a quick little check-see, a quick little look-see. Oh, that's a concerning title. Okay.
What?
Why is Bagel becoming parasocial?
Oh, wait, hold up. Oh, I see how.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I do not believe any of our Mythrill members are live right now, which means we will not be raiding anybody. Or they are live, but not live on the SMP. So
yeah, I'm the only one on the server right now.
No raids today. I want to thank everyone for coming in today. Thank you for the subs and for the follows. They are greatly, greatly appreciated. We'll be seeing you next month with another episode of Mythrill Monthly, where we'll be going over the rest of the lore from this month. So slay. But
remember to hydrate, everybody.
Yes, remember to hydrate. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. And as always, may Mythrill enrich your hearts. Check out the Discord and the Twitter and the wonderful, wonderful YouTube for when this episode is posted. And we will see you all another time. Ta-ta!
Bye-bye.